Hi, good afternoon, Midland ISD. Hope everyone had a good weekend, having a good Monday, this April 20th. I want to just, first of all, start off acknowledging where we are as a district in light of the governor's declaration that he made on this past Friday. So this past Friday, we heard Governor Abbott share that schools across Texas will remain closed for the rest of the school year. And so as much as we might have been anticipating this as a district across the state, now that it has happened, I realize it is a lot to take in because it forces us to now confront this new normal. It's a lot of emotions that are going on at this point in time, and it's normal to have these emotions when we are in a situation that is very abnormal and is not the way that we have ever expected the end of the year to conclude. So with that, I do want to acknowledge it is normal for you, for your children, for faculty, staff members, everyone who is a part of this district or community to have various emotions. Some people feel, okay, thank goodness we've called it for the rest of the year and we're going to continue as we were. Some people feel, I'm really sad for my senior this year. This was not what they had ever expected. This is not what I wanted for them. This is not what they wanted for themselves. It's difficult for our students who are, just continuing on, their first years of school. I mean, I think of our kindergartners and our littles that have just started school and they're so excited, and this is such an abnormal situation. I just remember having to have a conversation with my first grader, telling him that he wouldn't be able to get to see his friends this school year. And so I realize it is a difficult time, and to say that it is not is inaccurate. It is a difficult time for everybody. So I want to acknowledge that. I want everyone to feel that these feelings are all normal because we're in a situation that is so abnormal. With that, we want to make sure that we're talking with our children about this, that we realize why we're doing what we're doing. And so a couple of things that we want to talk about that have been hot topics, things that have been asked about are in relation to summer school. We're going to talk about seniors today. We're going to talk about a number of those things. So we'll go ahead and dive right in. So in terms of summer school, so people, there was earlier on we were talking about the opportunity of summer learning for our children, and there are a number of just different ideas about this. So let me just share with you where we are with this. There's no discussion about altering school, the start of the school year, or the end of this school year, and Mr. Riddick, I know, has said numerous times, we are ending on time. We are ending on time. We're not having an extended school year or anything to that degree. But what we do have to consider is opportunities for students who might want enrichment, and notice I'm saying want enrichment. I know we have a number of students out there who would really benefit from some enrichment opportunities, and we want to make sure that those students do have those opportunities. So our staff is in conversation right now, continuing to flesh out what that would look like for students who want those enrichment opportunities throughout the summer. There's also, we also need to think of this on another aspect as well. So what happens for students who were not going to be able, who hadn't mastered the course, and are they going to be, how's that going to take place? So as we always have done with our students who need to master that course, we have to have some considerations for what summer learning happens to support students who might be falling behind. So we have a number of things. There are students who have been on track to mastery. We have some students who are not on track to mastery, or for some reason have received an incomplete. So this is something that we need to have, that we're going to be sharing further with you once we have some more solidified information and solidified plans. Those plans are underway. We want them to be the very best that they can possibly be. And again, it'll include summer learning opportunities for students who were not mastering the content based upon a preponderance of data, based upon what we've seen in the fall semester and their progress monitoring throughout this semester. We need to see what that would look like to make sure that they are where they need to be when school does reopen for the next school year. And then for our students who would like to have enrichment opportunities and just to go deeper with some of that content knowledge. I think it's important to acknowledge both. But there is not a mandatory summer school that's going to continue throughout the summer that all students will attend. That's not something that we're doing for in that regard. We will be having more information on summer learning opportunities as we move forward. So we will be getting those with you. We're working on through those plans, and then I know people are wanting to make those their summer vacation plans or whatever your summer looks like. That's going to impact. So we want to make sure that we're getting that information to you should you elect to participate in summer learning. As this gets worked out, you can expect to hear further information through our website, through your child's teachers, your principal's phone calls, here on Facebook Live, social media. We'll continue to share that through our Midland ISD outlets. Another hot topic I do want to share with everyone is in terms of graduation. This means a lot of things for our seniors. I think we all anticipated, should this be a situation where the governor has kept schools closed, that we need to be thinking about graduation. And I will tell you right now, because I don't want to keep people wondering about this, it will not be possible to continue at a graduation as it had been in the past. It won't be the traditional graduation ceremony for a number of reasons. We're going to do our very, very best to make sure that we are honoring our students who have worked so hard. We are going to have it occur to a degree in a virtual manner. We will be sharing that information out. We have a number of areas that we're working to solidify there. It is not a decision that we came to lightly. We looked through all possible other scenarios, but as much as we would love to do this in-person traditional graduation that everyone's always built up in their mind, I understand where this puts us. We cannot, in good conscience, put our students, our families, our community at risk for COVID-19 transmission in a traditional graduation setting. We understand that Midland ISD plays a large role in public health, and what we do or what we do not do will impact our community. And when we take in consideration what has been presented to us from a number of settings, that's not something that we will be able to do at this point in time as it has been, as we anticipated would happen. We are working, like I mentioned earlier, to flesh out how this is going to occur in a way that honors and respects our seniors. There is a lot of intentional thought being put into this, because the easy thing to do would be just continue as we had before. That would not be the responsible thing to do. That would not be safe for our students. That would not be safe for our community. And as we send our seniors off to do what they're going to do in the world, we want them to be healthy. And that is first and foremost what we want from them. But we are going to honor them. We're going to respect them because they have done amazing things, especially in this last year, learning to really adapt to situations that are just, we never thought we would have to adapt to in this lifetime. We will be sharing more information next week with your campuses. I do also want to mention we do have a place on our website dedicated to our seniors, talking about anything that pertains to them. So it's midlandisd.net/seniors2020. We continue to post information there, and that's where your campuses can also post some information as well. Speaking of seniors, we're going to talk about GPA and class rank. That brings up a lot of other questions as well. So tonight, during our board meeting, a resolution is going in front of the school board, which would make GPA determined by fall semester grades only. There are a number of reasons for that, and there are many mixed emotions about that, and I understand, I respect those emotions. Everyone's coming from a different place, and it's normal to have these mixed feelings. We've shared before that while our approach to grading while school is closed couldn't continue as the way it had been before, everyone's in a completely different circumstance at home. We can't treat everyone as if things were completely normal. So we feel that using fall semester only grades during a time when things were normal is the fairest way to rank our students and assign a cumulative GPA. That will be going as a board resolution to the board tonight at our 5:30 board meeting. You can watch that board meeting because it is virtual with our board and interact with us in that way. All right. That also talks to us a little, speaks to questions about valedictorian, and top 10%. The determination of these local honors would, including valedictorian, salutatorian, would follow suit based upon the grades available through the most recent fall 2019 grades instead of through the end of the 5th 6 weeks period, which is traditionally when that cutoff would be. That is a lot, I know, to take in. I know that has generated a lot of questions. I'm going to dive into some of the questions that we do have coming through the feed, and I apologize, this is on my phone, so I know that it looks like I'm staring straight at you, but this is where I'm seeing all the things that have come through the feed, and see what I can answer for you. Yes, definitely, seniors, I hear you, and those of you who are parents of seniors, I mean, sometimes it's really important, it's certainly important to us to see our kids walk across the stage and, you know, earn that recognition. Please know we are going to honor them because that's what we are here for. Students, we're here for kids, and we are going to make sure that is something that we do for them. Questions about pre-K enrollment for the following school year. So we were hoping for, you know, some things that we have to keep in consideration with pre-Ks. There are a number of assessments that have to be, that are done. And when I'm talking about assessments, I'm not talking about it just a paper pencil assessment or something that sometimes you can just do virtually. Although we're doing many things virtually, when we're talking about various assessments such as those, we want to make sure that we're not invalidating those assessments. So based upon what we've talked with those publishers, pre-K enrollment, we're going to have to do some of those things a little bit differently than what we would do with just a natural enrollment. So we're talking through with those publishers about what that would look like, how can we maintain validity to the instrument, what are some of the options that we have, and then what would be the best way to roll that out to our families to be able to participate in pre-K enrollment for the following school year. Information, I know that has been on many people's minds. How do I get my little signed up for that? We will be sharing that information in the very, very near future. Our pre-K group is really working diligently to make sure that they have the most solid plan and best plan to be able to provide that enrollment opportunity for them. We will enroll them. It's just a matter of how exactly we're going to do that, plus also get those assessments in place that need to take place. Estimate for the solidified plans. The solidified plans, I'm thinking, not in regards to talking about seniors and things of that nature. So a number of things, like I mentioned, going to our board today for resolution for terms of GPA. graduation plans, we will be sharing those out with you very, very soon. There are a number of things that we do want to make sure. We want to make sure that we are providing the very, very best services, that we are looking at it through multiple lenses very, very soon. I would hope within the next week or so, because I know that's on people's plates, and that's on where we need. That's something that people need to plan for. It's something that usually at this point in time you already know. Okay, this is how it's going to be. We understand you're wanting to make sure that our what does that mean for your family. So we will be getting that information very, very, very soon. Within the week is what we expect. Okay, in regards to, so just a couple things, clarification on progress monitoring. So last week we came out with our codes that we shared, and last week on the 17th, progress reports were available to parents to access via Skyward regarding on track to mastery, if the student's not on track to mastery, or incomplete, meaning we can't tell one way or the other. So what this situation, so we have a quantitative and a qualitative aspect. Quantitative meaning the grades that they had, the numeric grades, and now we need to see how those students are progressing throughout their studies, because you think of March to May, or March was when we were out, to May, that's a significant significant amount of time. We want to make sure that those students are going to be successful moving into the next grade level. So we want our students to be able to continue with those studies. So I know Google Classroom is new to a lot of us. It's new to a lot of our students, and I know that there are some technology pieces that are being worked through. I'm trying to see if I can see more of this comment, so I'm answering it fully. Right now, so a couple of things we have stood up about guidelines on how long it should take with in regards to our students taking those working through their Google Classroom. We don't expect that to replicate an 8-hour day. With that though, I realize some of the time that it takes, I'm speaking like from experience with my own first grader, it was taking him a lot of time at first because he was just trying to learn the Google Classroom. So it was taking him quite a bit of time just to navigate the platform. That's shrunk down considerably now because that's now second nature. He knows how to navigate through that. And so that's, as we move forward with that, we can expect that learning curve to become a little less. If you do have questions about Google Classroom, we do have a number that we have stood up on our website where we can certainly support you all, families and students and parents as well. Okay. All right. I'm looking through a number of the questions have been answered here. I want to make sure that I am. Okay, questions are, when will teachers be allowed back on campuses? So teachers, I know there are a number of you tuning in as well, and that's a question a lot of people have. I left my classroom in the middle of spring break, expecting to, right before spring break, expecting to come back, and, all my stuff is right like that, and I couldn't get back in. So we are working with administrators, and that's another thing that, we have as far as how can teachers safely enter the building. Abbott has stood up some things on his information, or I'm sorry, Mike Morath has stood up some things on TEA's website, guidance for that. We are also in consultation with our Director of Health Services on how we're going to make sure that teachers are able to get back into the building, get those things that they had left behind, and get their classroom into some sort of order. Because I realize some of y'all might be moving classrooms. Some of you might be moving from one campus to another campus. How does that all happen? And you're like, okay, well, May 22nd is our day, So we are going to be sharing that out with you very, very soon. But again, it's one of those things that we would love to just give you that information right now. But because it has to be so thoughtfully and carefully considered and staggered out as far as people coming and going, it's going to take a little bit of time. So that information, we're working with principals right now to determine what those would look like, what those schedules would look like, and then just as soon as those are solidified on the campus levels, then that will be shared out with you teachers. Let's see. scrolling. Yes, so there's a lot of, people, with questions about specifically like, okay, so this is taking my student a really long time, and maybe they have mastered the technology portion. The technology now is not such a thing. It's now that they are not having that teacher, that normal teacher interaction that they're used to, getting that feedback in that particular way. How do I necessarily get that, how I'm spending a lot of time, and this is taking quite a bit of time. If you find that your child is spending an insane amount of time on classwork then you have questions about that, please reach out to that teacher. There might be something that might need to be clarified, but in those individual situations, please reach out to that teacher. He or she will be glad to help support you in that. I've done that a number of times with my own son's teachers, with some clarifications, and sometimes it's around technology pieces, but some of it is I might have a question about the assignment, or what was really expected about it. In my mind, it might have been one thing where the teacher had a different outcome in mind, and so I find that it's really helpful, and I'm speaking from a personal situation, where it's really helpful to directly contact those people, so that way there's more clarity given. So I would please, on a case-by-case basis, please reach out to that teacher and express that concern, because chances are that might not be necessarily what was the intent to begin with. Okay. Looking through. And as you talk to teachers, I know principals are certainly very responsive as well. So if you have questions about things about surrounding the campus, please reach out to your principals as well. They're listening they're responding to phone calls, emails, and just as fast as they can, because I know they're getting quite a bit. But it's really important for them to for you to have that information, and they understand that. So they're working very hard to get that sent in to you. So please be in touch with your campus administrators as well, should you have further questions, concerns about anything in regards to the classroom aspect. Okay, I'm looking through. All right. We don't want to miss any, and I'm making sure that we're not having, a lot of people. And there are, a number of questions also that are coming through. Okay, so teachers left their stuff. What about my kid's stuff? What about my kid's jacket that was left in his locker? What about all these things that those folks who, my kids, all those things are there. How do I get them? There's lockers. My kid's stuff is all in his locker. How are we going to get that? So we're working through that as well. Again, it's not going to be everyone come up to the campus at once. It's going to have to be a staggered process, which will probably mean that it's a little bit lengthy, which would probably have appointment times and things of that nature, because we need to make sure that we're entering the buildings safely. That we go in, if we are entering the buildings, ideally we would be able to pick them up. Have a system where we're picking things up curbside, and that would be, we definitely want to explore that possibility. We're working right now with our administrators to talk through what that looks like and the way it looks on each campus. I mean, we want to make sure that we're within the parameters of our health officials and following those guidelines, but we also want to make sure that we're getting our students stuff returned back to them. So just be on the lookout for that. That will be something that will be communicated with your campus principals once those times are determined. Creating a schedule like that takes a lot of thought, takes a lot of preparation, and so there and now in the midst, now that we know that the end of the school year is not going to conclude as the way we expected. All right, so how are we going to make sure that everybody is able to get their classrooms packed up, get their textbooks returned, get all of these things sorted out, because it's really just left as if we left after spring break. All right. lot of good things. Teachers are doing meetings with students to help kids. So yeah, our teachers are, I know my son, he goes to a kid meeting. He's really excited about his kid meetings that he has on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he tunes in with his teachers to have his kid meeting. Feels, that it's interesting to see how now they have that protocol. Everyone mute your mics. Everyone talk at once and things of that. So there's a lot of other things that they're inadvertently learning at this point in time. So those kid meetings or those one-on-ones with teachers are certainly valuable. So whenever your teachers have those Google Hangouts or Google Meets sessions, those are certainly valuable ways to connect in with them. It's not the same as being in a classroom. Yeah, it's not the same as having them there all day, every day. So I realize this is a really a new situation for a number of us, or for I think all of us here. Right. Okay. So questions about. Okay, questions about, I'm going to see if I can scroll down this question here. All right, so as far as worksheets, there's a question about I'm seeing that there are some worksheets. So a number of things, I know my son, his example has been, they take a picture of it and they just upload it. We haven't printed anything at our house. So he's done a lot of work, but it's not been anything where he's had to print or download. And so possibly, that's one thing that I've heard his teacher telling him, there are ways where you can download those things, or you can just take a picture of them with phone and then upload them to Google Classroom, and she walked them through how you can do that. Okay. All right. So just as a reminder, tonight, 5:30, we have our board meeting taking place at midlandisd.net/stream. I hope you take that opportunity to plug in with the meeting, stay informed about what's happening in the district. Thank you for tuning into Facebook Live here. We will have it on Wednesday in Spanish, and then Friday it'll be back to English. We do have our unified command briefings where it's in collaboration, not just MISD, but we have our whole health departments and our city and county officials that are truly unified in this endeavor. So please tune into those. Those are at 9 o'clock and on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Mr. Riddick will be representing Midland ISD on those days as well. So tune into those. Thank you for all you do for your students. I know these are unprecedented times, things that we had never would have thought that we would have been in this situation, but we're going to get through it together. And that is how we do that. We support each other, we move forward together, and thank you for all you do. It's a great community to live and thrive in. Y'all have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.